times we've been in just a small smoky club when everyone is, you know, pushed together, and there's just these moments you can't describe with words that pick you up off the ground, which is the whole reason I'm playing music.
How's your throat?
I think I passed it on to Peter.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It was kind of one of those curses that you can only get rid of if you give it to someone else. So, he was the likely candidate. Yeah, but I think he's doing better than I had like a fever and the whole 9 yards, so I was knocked out for a couple of days, and he had to sing a lot more of the songs. Just it's kind of one of the good things about having two singers. I only would do a couple a night, you know, through that time. So.
Alright. How many shows did you have to cancel? Just that one?
Just one that we actually had to cancel for real. The others were we tried our hardest to, you know, to muscle through them, and we did all right. Some of them were kind of cool. We had to play some older songs which we wouldn't normally play just because it was all we had left. But yeah.
So it was not a big disaster.
Well, that one show was, yeah.
It was?
Well, because it was, it's the last thing in the world you want to do is cancel a show, so, you know, you can think about it in your mind and it's kind of easy, but when you do it, you just feel like you know, you feel really guilty. Like, truly, yeah. It's a lot worse in reality than it is, you know. You hear it happens all the time, but until you do it and you let people down and it's your fault. You know, especially when you're in a band that's like other people and like a crew and they're all trying to make a living that day, and you know, it's a lot bigger than just you are. So.
Isn't it hard going back to the States for 4 days, you know, with jet lag and all that?
Yeah, but it's you don't want to be home too long, so, you know, if you're gonna head out again.
Then you get comfortable.
And the girlfriend gets, gets, you know, you're like invading someone else's life that they've grown accustomed without you.
Yeah.
You only want to like really tear off that band-aid if it's really important.
No, I can understand that. Do you like touring, or is it just something you have to do?
I love
part
it.
of the job. Or?
I love it, and all of us, you know, we're kind of made for it. There's some bands that are like album bands, and some bands that, you know, are kind of road bands, and we're definitely the latter.
A road band.
Yeah, I don't know why. What makes you that way? But
because I'm thinking that there's also a difference between playing live and being on tour, right? I guess.
I haven't found the difference between the two yet. When you figure that one out, you let me know.
Oh, I'm just thinking that, you know, playing live, you can enjoy playing live, but still not liking being away from home for a long time, you know?
Yeah, no, it's fucking hard. It's kind of every day is tests you, you know, see if you're gonna snap or not. But it's better than being at home and snapping at home. Then it's a mess and you gotta clean it up. You can just leave town, start a new mess tomorrow, somewhere else. We're always arguing, we're always fighting with our management to try and, or our label to try and get over here. The labels these days, they aren't giving you hardly any tour support to get to tour anymore. In the old days being about 2 years ago.
Way back
then, they would give bands, you know, just, you know, the significant tour support to like promote the record and whatnot. These days it's like, unless you're a baby band that just came out and literally have nothing going, they expect everyone to just fit their own bills, so it's just getting harder and harder to get that much further. So.
Actually, I thought that they would probably push the live tour more, since it's harder to sell records because of the internet and all that.
They push us harder to pay for ourselves. It's just, which we're lucky enough to almost break even, I think, these days, which is a good feeling. Like, you know, you don't have to beg, steal, and borrow. But it's still like we could just, if they were helping us as well, we could, you know, go everywhere we ever wanted.
There's a story behind the album title of your new album. Something about the tsunami or something.
Yeah, it was Nick. Nick ran across the name Baby 81, and I found out later it was this a child in the tsunami that was numbered because it was the 81st baby admitted to this hospital during that whole thing, and a bunch of, like 9 different mothers came forward and tried to claim it as their own, and it was interesting. Like the more we read up about it, it was interesting, but it was. The weird thing was just whenever we tell a friend of ours we're thinking of calling the record Baby 81, they would you know, before you tell them the real story, they'd always come up with their own thing to it, and it'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool because it's like you know, like Octane Baby or something, and we're like, okay, and you come up with someone else and they're like, oh yeah, it's like Baby 81, it's like, you know, like Kid A, or like a futuristic world where, you know, people are numbered and marked, and
okay.
and then this other band was like, you know, warned us that we shouldn't do it because 81 is the Hells Angels letters, and then we found out the whole history of that, which was, you know, when the Hells Angels went into prison, they would get numbered. The H is the 8th letter in the alphabet, and A is the 1st letter in the alphabet. So to know who was a Hells Angel in prison and who wasn't, they just put an 81 next to their name. So, so through all of this, finding all this stuff out, it became more and more like, wow, this has got all this dimension to it, and it inspires thought at the very least. So, you know, we kind of liked it. We haven't put out a bad record or a bad song yet, so you know, we've still got the next record to do that. Jump the